Adjust the mirrors and strap the seatbelt on in your land yacht. The next hour could be a bumpy ride. Breaking stories.
I'm going to tell you exactly why.
Big guests.
Neil Henry.
I'm Cameron Smith.
Jason Ackermanis joins us. Gordon Tallis.
Mate, I'm excited.
No fence sitting allowed.
The disrespect showing.
From the playing field to the locker room. And sporting goss everyone's talking about. You'll get it right here. This is Triple M's Rush Hour Queenslander. With Dobbo.
Game 2, State of Origin done and dusted. Unfortunately for Queenslanders, as is the Origin series for 2021. Dobbo, been a full-on 24 hours. Hello, mate.
Yeah, g'day, Elliot. Well, it wasn't the night that everybody wanted last night. Queensland soundly beaten 26-0, and congratulations to New South Wales, winners of the State of Origin series for 2021. So much to like about what they delivered, New South Wales. We will recap it. We've got to talk about the eligibility. Ronaldo Militalo and that whole fiasco, unbelievable. Xavier Coates called in. We'll catch up with Michael Morgan. We're going to talk with Andrew Gaze about Ben Simmons. We're also going to give you the sports wrap. Chris Walker walking from Cairns to the Gold Coast. He's almost there, and so much more. Let's get into it. Let's have our sports wrap. Monday night, this is Rush Hour Queenslander on Triple M. Lots to get through this. Lots to get through with the sporting landscape. Let's start with last night. 26-0, New South Wales defeat Queensland. Elliot, it was ugly from Queensland. We'll get to the Ronaldo Militalo issue very shortly and where Queensland go from there. We'll catch up with Michael Morgan as well. In the women's, though, a bit better news on Friday night. I love this. They win 8-6. Controversial penalty, but I didn't think it was controversial. Queensland go back-to-back. And the biggest talking point from that was there was no 6 again rule, and also what I will say is the weather was putrid and the crowd was still there.
Yep.
So congratulations to everybody who got out there. Now, Brisbane did a real job, and we talked about this last Thursday night, just recapping. They defeated Geelong. They're now in third spot. But I did say if North Melbourne were to beat the Gold Coast down in Tasmania, Stewie Dew was in some real trouble. Well, David Noble and the North Melbourne Kangaroos have got better and better. There's no two ways about it. Noble is a good coach. He was here at the Brisbane Lions as the football manager. And Stewie Dew is in some trouble. There's no two ways about it. They were beaten soundly, 72-63 in Tasmania, and there is some real problems from that landscape. After 14 rounds, Melbourne, the Bulldogs, the Brisbane Lions, Port Adelaide are the top 4. Geelong, Sydney, West Coast and Richmond round out the 8. And North Melbourne, they've had 2 wins. A lot of people said, and a draw, a lot of people said that they weren't going to have a win at all this season. So they've gone really well. To A-League, and the final is over. I know we probably haven't talked about it a lot, but Melbourne City 3 beat Sydney FC 1, and that is done and dusted. That was at Amy Park, and I'm pleased that's been done. In tennis, Alex de Minaur, he wins the final in the build-up to Wimbledon. He defeated Lorenzo Santiago 4-6, 6-4, 7-6, which was good for him. And lots to get through in the NBA. We're going to talk with Andrew Gaze a little later. But the Western Conference Finals, best of 7, Game 4, Phoenix Suns defeat LA Clippers 84-80. Suns are leading 3-1, so you would think that would head that way. So much to get through. Tour de France is on, stage 1, and just a horrific set of circumstances at the present moment. If you ever want to watch some cycling, Tour de France is great. A lady holding a sign, and unbelievable what happened, just caused carnage on day 1. It looks like she's going to get sued, and rightly so. We'll give you an update in the next couple of days. The NRL has obviously gone into COVID Code 3 like last year, which means there's going to be some implementation, chartered flights and stuff like that, and some movement of games. We'll keep you up to date with that as well. Let's get into it. Let's go back. Let's recap last night and the fiasco that was. Michael Morgan joins us next. This is the Rush Hour on Triple M.
Of course, we are in the wash right now of State of Origin Game 2. A drubbing, unfortunately, at Suncorp as the Blues wrapped up the series. Joining us now, a man that no doubt would have loved to have been out there. He's a legend in Queensland Maroons history for the North Queensland Cowboys as well. He put him on his back in 2017, nearly led him to glory then. The flick pass in 2015 still gets us a little bit hot under the collar. Joining us, the great Michael Morgan. Hello, mate.
Hey, Elliot, how you going, mate?
Excellent,
Thanks for the wrap.
thank you.
Oh, stop it. Hey, Morgs, good morning, mate. There's no other way. Humiliated if you're a Queenslander today. It was ugly. New South Wales win the series after a 26-0 win. it just nothing went right once again from, Reece Walsh getting injured to Ronaldo Mulitalo to when they got out into the field. It was just not Queensland's night.
No, it wasn't. It was very disappointing. I thought, when the kickoff and the first couple of sets, I thought, Queensland are on here. I think, compare it to the start of the last game, New South Wales made 80 metres off their first set. Tackle 4 last night, they were still inside their own 10. So I think the intention were there. It was better, but mate, they've got a good team at the moment, and they're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, everybody's talking about this dynasty that New South Wales got. You've been part of one where they won 8 in a row. You can see the makings there with this side. It is absolutely red hot at the moment, this New South Wales team.
Yeah, it is very hot, but they said after 2014 it was going to be a dynasty as well, so we're still waiting for that one. It's hard to know. You can't. I don't think you can predict it because there's so many changes, so much can happen over a season of footy that it's hard to predict. But if they stay the way they are, the same players are in there, then yes, they will be very hard to beat for a long time.
Do you actually talk to your brother-in-law about throwing that absolute howler of an intercept? I mean, let's face it, we're just going to break it down. We love Val, but like when you get home tonight, do you say to Val, you cost Queensland the whole series?
I won't put it. I'll feel the room first and see what type of move it is.
That's probably a good idea.
But I may mention it.
Morgs, you have, I don't believe, been part of a Queensland side being down 2-0 before. How does a side that is so unfamiliar with it get themselves even half ready and want to play for Game 3, wherever it's played?
I think they'll definitely want to play. There's no doubt about that. They've been pretty embarrassed, I guess, the last 2 games. It's, I think, 76-6, the scoreline over the 2 games. So they have plenty to play for. And you're not playing Origin for yourself. It's not about you, and it's about what you do in that jersey. But it's about the Queensland people. It's about the history of the jersey. Yeah. At no point do you consider yourself of who you're doing it for. It's just not how it is. And again, that's something that makes Origin so special. You're representing so many people, your family, the Queensland people. So I have no doubt whoever's picked will want to be there and want to do well.
Yeah, well said. Good on you, mate. Just make your little trend. You didn't have a late night last night. It's unlike you. But look, you're a big part of this show, and so thanks so much. And hopefully Queensland can get back on track for Game 3, and they can do the state proud. Appreciate your time, Morgs. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Dobbo. Thank you, mate.
This is the Rush Hour Queenslander with Dobbo on Triple M. Coming up next, a lot of confusion, I know, when it comes to State of Origin and Ronaldo Mulitalo. Why exactly was he not allowed to play, and why did we find out on game day eve? More on that next. Well, thanks to our friends at Totally Workwear. If you download the Listener app today, it's absolutely free. Grab it onto your phone. You can catch up on the Rush Hour Queensland at any stage. Now, last night, State of Origin Game 2, yes, a tough loss for the Maroons, but the big confusion was the Ronaldo Mulitalo situation. He wasn't eligible to play, and there's a lot of us, Dobbo, I would suggest, that don't really understand exactly what happened.
Just to step everybody through it, Reece Walsh named to debut, injured his hamstring in the captain's run. Ronaldo Mulitalo from the Sharks was then moved in, and he was set to make his debut. Now, he born in Auckland, so let's just get it all straight. He was born in Auckland. Yep. Like a lot of rugby league players, it happens. He moved over when he was 13 years old and 11 months. The rule dated back to 2012 is that you had to reside in Queensland before your 13th birthday. Why 13 is that the age bracket? I'm not sure. So by the technical law, it looks like he is ineligible to play. Yep. The drama that everybody doesn't fully understand is that he played for the Queensland under-15s, he played for the Queensland under-17s, and he played for the Queensland under-20s. He went to Ipswich Straight High, he played Met West, and he'd signed 2 or 3 contracts since he became a professional rugby league player for the Cronulla Sharks, which he had ticked that he was eligible, and when sent to the NRL, they approved the contracts. I asked Paul Green, did he understand the enormity of whether or not Ronaldo was eligible? And the QRL and Paul Green, they were completely oblivious because they thought he actually, from signing those contracts, was right to play.
Well, all the information that was available to us, he was eligible to play.
Yeah, the fact is that there is a breakdown big time in the system. There's no two ways about it. It's embarrassing. That's what it is. It's embarrassing that a bloke can play for Queensland under 15s, 17s and 20s. I understand he was born in Auckland, but he resided out of Ipswich. He wanted to be a Queenslander. He calls himself a Queenslander. He's choosing to play for his country as well, of Australia, if he could play. And the fact that he was ineligible to play last night, I mean, to me...
Gobbo, I'll just say this, mate. As a Queenslander that was born in the heart of Queensland, Kingaroy, there is nothing more Queensland than a Kiwi.
That's exactly right. Like it's almost a rite of passage.
That's right.
Yeah, but I just understand, like 13 is 13, 13, 11 months, 13. I mean, so he's got to be here. He's got to be here when he's 12. That's it. If you're over 12, you're like, seriously.
And is he from New Zealand, or let's just call it what it is? It's East Queensland. All right.
I think what will happen is in the next couple of days, he will be
surely.
Yeah, I think, but they just weren't prepared to play him because if Queensland did win last night and they rocked him, they would have lost the win, and that's where it got to. But it damaged the game, it damaged the brand, and it's now farcical what's going on. And we'll get to it a bit later. We've got some theories on how we could get the eligibility right. We'll get to that a bit later. But seriously, poor old Ronaldo, mate, unbelievable.
Coming up next on the Rush Hour Queenslander with Dobbo, the Ben Simmons situation in the world of basketball is very strange. Will he play for the Boomers or not? We'll go to our expert, one of the best to ever lace him up, Andrew Gaze. He's after this. Look, the Olympic Games, the Australian men's basketball team, there's a lot of hoo-ha going on. We're going to the experts now. Australian basketball royalty joining us, Andrew Gaze. Welcome to the Rush Hour.
Thanks very much. I'm not sure I fall into the expert category, but maybe experience category.
Mate, give us some insight. And geez, Americans are hard on in basketball. You've played in the NBA. You understand just how much pressure there is. Ben Simmons is probably our greatest Australian export at the moment in the basketball world, and he is copping an absolute pizzling after his performance in the playoffs. Firstly, is it justified, and can he recover from this?
Well, I don't think any person participating in sport should have to go through what Ben Simmons is currently going through. The vitriol, the way in which people are expressing their disappointment in his performances is really unnecessary, and it's hurtful. We speak a lot in our community and right throughout the world about player welfare and trying to look after individuals and the mental health of people. And, this is a very, very difficult situation where Ben Simmons hopefully doesn't pick up the phone, or from what I'm reading and hearing, it's very difficult for him to even walk out the door in Philadelphia because of the response that he's getting. So I don't think that that's necessary anywhere when we're talking about participating in sport.
But if you're the point guard of the 76ers, you have an expectation and you want the glamour and the glitz and the money, which comes with being that position. Come the hour, come the man, you have to deliver, and he didn't deliver in the playoffs. So you can understand in some, I don't agree in any way that the online abuse and the abuse, but you have to be held accountable for your performance at that level.
Absolutely, and of course, he's held accountable by his teammates, his coaching staff, and certainly I don't think we're saying that we shouldn't be able to question someone's performance. That's absolutely appropriate, but it's the way in which that is done that I think is very disappointing. And I think that also when you look at his performance, we're right throughout forever and a day, there's always going to be sporting performances that don't live up to expectations. But that does not give, I think, anyone the right to be as abusive and vitriolic as what he's had to deal with.
What about the comments from Andrew Bogut the other day? Because it does seem like Ben's on the fence when it comes to playing for Australia at the Olympics. Bogut says you shouldn't have to be convinced. You shouldn't have to put on a parade for someone to represent their nation. What do you make of that?
I absolutely agree with him as a broad statement. If you're unwilling or you don't want to participate, particularly in a team sport like basketball, then it's going to be hard to see how in which you can make the level of contribution that your teammates are hoping you can provide. However, I think that there's always context around it. And Ben's played for Australia before. He's won a silver medal for the Australian team at the junior level. And I think that with the circumstance that he's going through, that a difficult situation with the way in which people are passing judgment on him, I think that the opportunity to play for Australia, be surrounded by people that love and care for you like no other, go and play at in the FIBA rules, which helps his game, eliminates the pressure that can sometimes come with the opposition forcing him to the free throw line, and playing a game that's very meaningful, that can eradicate some of the memories of what you've just gone through in the NBA. I think those types of things, that you can provide a scenario that presents a good argument for why someone should play, and encourage them to play.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you are coaching Ben Simmons right at the moment, Andrew Gaze, where do you go to try and get his shooting back on point?
Well, I think there's two issues that he has to address. One is his field goal shooting, and a lot of people have focused on his three-point shooting, and that is a long-term project. You don't fix that problem quickly. One summer of working on your three-point shot doesn't get that done. But what he can fix really quickly is his free throw shooting. And throughout the course of last season, he actually improved his free throw shooting. He was up to in the 70%, and then, of course, in the finals, he was horrifically bad. But that is a little bit of technique. It's a little bit of what goes on in the mind, and that type of situation can be corrected. And I also believe can be helped by getting back on the horse as quickly as you can, and getting involved with the Australian team, and getting involved in real life situations where you're not as going to be forced into those situations as much as you are in the NBA, just because of the rules.
I mean, he said he's not an expert, but he sounds like one. Andrew Gaze,
unbelievable,
king of basketball. Hey, thanks for coming on the Rush Hour, mate. Great to have you on.
It's an absolute pleasure. Let's hope the Boomers bring home that gold medal.
Bloody oath. Good on you. Thank you, Andrew Gaze. Appreciate your time.
Anytime, guys.
Thanks.
Coming up next on the Rush Hour, Queenslander with Dobbo, a man that started his journey in Cairns, is walking to the Gold Coast, and he's almost there. What a superstar. What a trek. We're going to catch up with Chris Walker to wrap things up after this on Triple M. A man that has been on an unbelievable journey where he teams up with Fund My Challenge. You can find that app or head to the website to donate, where he started in Cairns almost 60 days ago. He's on his way to the Gold Coast. He is nearly there. Queensland legend Chris Walker. How are you, mate?
How you going, all right?
Oh, mate, we're as good as we can be. Obviously, we're going into COVID, but I just got to say, I don't know how you'd be feeling, but I am really disappointed that you weren't able to last night before Origin do a lap around Suncorp Stadium. For those who have joined us and who know what Chris has done, he's walked from Cairns and he'll finish at the Gold Coast later in the week. He's been raising money the whole way, and we've followed his journey on this show and on his Instagram and his feed. And part of it was to walk around Suncorp Stadium on Origin night last night. The fact that the NRL cancelled that off the back of, and Elliot made me aware of this, and I saw this, Darius Boyd took the football out there with a menu log box. There's no different. It absolutely was a dreadful decision by the NRL not to allow you to do a lap.
Yeah, Dobbo, mate, I don't know who made the decision. I don't know where the decision come from. But, mate, I appreciate the NRL allowing me the opportunity to, first and foremost, to go out there and have an interview. I'm still scratching my head like many people I know are still scratching their head that, I couldn't have, Joel Parkinson, Link Lewis, or Stephen Bradbury walk around the field with me, but yet there were young kids out there playing footy and officials out there playing footy with the young kids. It's a weird one, mate, but you know what? The world's in a weird place at the moment. I'm in such a good place mentally. It doesn't bother me one bit. It was an odd decision. If that's what the decision was because of COVID, well, then I can live with it. But it was odd, Dobbo. It was really odd. But mate, I still got to go out there and do my interview and tell people about my amazing travels and the people that I've met along the way. And mentally and physically, I'm in probably better shape than what I did when I started 64 days ago. And at the end of the day, mate, it's you can't change those decisions. There were people that were very disappointed that I couldn't do the lap with other people, considering what was going on in the field. And that's their decision. And mate, that's fine, man. I'm in this space right now mentally that, mate, nothing bothers me, nothing gets to me. It's a really, really good headspace that I'm in. It's crazy.
What about you finish on the end of the week? How many more kilometres have you got to go?
Dobbo, I have 83 kilometres left.
So what's the week look like? So you're going to try and get through heavy and then just get a bit close. And what have you mapped out the last week and how it looks?
Yeah, I have. I've mapped out the last week. I'm still sitting here right now. This morning, I haven't left. I had my family come up and see me last night, go to the game. I haven't begun my journey. I know where I'm going, but I haven't sat down and went, you know what, I've got 30 Ks to do today. I might do 10 Ks or I might do 15 Ks. I might just enjoy the trip through Brisbane, and then reassess it where I am tomorrow. Lunch at Caxton and all that sort of stuff earlier on. So it's coming to an end, and I'm feeling a little bit that there's some mixed emotions, especially yesterday when I turned down Caxton Street to walk into Caxton Street yesterday. The Caxton Hotel have been outstanding for me as well coming in. So there's some mixed emotions. There really is. I won't lie, but I'm very, very happy and very proud of my own achievements, and I'm pretty sure that the charities involved will be very happy with where it ended up.
Well, it's not too late to donate to what is a wonderful cause. So fund my challenge. Go to the website or download the app. As Chris Walker's mammoth journey is coming to an end, where he raises money for Beyond Blue, Rise Up, Alcohol and Drug Foundation and Global Awakening. You are a champion, mate. Looking forward to catching up at the finish line. Thank you so much for joining us on the Rush Hour.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. Thank you.
Good on you, mate.
Full-time here, Dob. A reminder to anyone they can catch up on the Rush Hour Queenslander. Any conversation at any stage, just download the free Listener app onto your phone today.
Yeah, enjoyed this one. It's been a big one. We'll be back tomorrow night from 6, 3 o'clock on the Listener app. Have a great night. And remember, as the saying always goes, when the wheat is ripe, you keep those headers rolling in the paddock. See you later.